Okay, this is actually not that surprising.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, we're diving straight into this topic, okay? Right now, we're about to jump right into this topic, okay? I lied. Listen, so just letting you guys know really quickly, I am going to be selling shirts pretty soon, so just be on the lookout for that. I'm still working with the artist, but I got all the equipment to make shirts. I got the website in the works, okay, but it's basically there. All I have to do is just finish up with the artist. So once I have the design and everything, it's a go. So just letting you guys know that, and it's going to be about 3 designs I'm starting off with. I got about 9 working on, but we're going to just start off with 3, just kind of do a test run and see how you guys feel about them. But yeah, just be on the lookout for that, okay? I'll announce it on here, Instagram, Twitter, all that great stuff. So thanks for the love. Okay, so let's dive straight into this. Spurs were reportedly never interested in Deandre Ayton, John Collins, or Colin Sexton. Now, I think we talked about this briefly in a different article, but it has resurfaced. And big shout out to Spurs Hoops for posting this. And they basically, just threw it in here. And it's from actually Air Alamo, who actually ended up, putting this on their website. So just starting off, I'm not that shocked by this, but honestly, I actually looked at this and I sat back and I said, I'm happy. I'm really happy, because it seems as if the Spurs plan was to tank all along. So them not being interested in Deandre Ayton, you guys know I was really high on getting Ayton near the end of last season. I was like, yes, go in, go get him. Let's make this thing work. But the more I thought about it, the more I sat back and I said, no. We would just be mediocre. We would continue to be mediocre. And that doesn't mean Deandre Ayton isn't a great player, but he would probably be our best player on the team, and then DJ would be our second best player. And then I said, well, maybe we can try to trade up in the draft and get Banchero. And I think that would set us up pretty nicely. But then we will be putting all of our merit on Banchero. Like all the eggs will be in the Banchero basket, because at the end of the day, I don't necessarily know if DJ would be like a great third option for a championship team. I don't know. I just didn't know at the time. And then Deandre Ayton, he'll be coming into a new role in which we just not 100% sure if he's going to be a superstar. As it stands right now, he is definitely an all-star caliber player, but I don't know if Deandre Ayton is a superstar. And a lot of it comes down to Phoenix Suns and how they've utilized them. And I felt as if the Spurs would probably utilize them a little bit better, and being under Tim Duncan and Pop, maybe that'll help them, but honestly, I don't know. We just don't know. So it was a lot of question marks, and I just felt as if that wouldn't be good enough. Even if you got Zach LaVine, I just don't know if that's good enough. It just didn't feel like a future championship team. You got the timelines all over the place. I just, when it was all said and done, I didn't want Deandre Ayton. I didn't think it would be worth it. And I was like, you know what? You got to pick a direction. That direction should be tank. But knowing now that the San Antonio Spurs had no interest in him whatsoever, that's good. That means that the Spurs initially were saying, look, this team isn't good enough. We have to tank. And I'm going to say this really quickly before we go into the other 2 people they didn't want. Really quick, okay? Just hear me out, okay? I understand that a lot of people were pretty upset with the San Antonio Spurs not tanking earlier, including myself, But at the same time, I think it's somewhat hindsight, because when you kind of look back and you contextualize what was going on at the time, the whole Kawhi Leonard situation, we were literally coming off of a Western Conference final, like literally close to a championship. I felt as if that team would have beat the Warriors. And keep in mind, when you have 50 plus wins every single season in like 3 different decades, it's hard to just throw the rope, just straight up just say, you know what, we're done. It's time to tank because Kawhi's gone. It just wasn't in their DNA, and it wasn't in my DNA as a fan. I don't think anybody thought that DeAndre. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. DeRozan. I don't think anyone thought that DeRozan coming to the Spurs would mean that, oh no, we're done, we're trash. I didn't think that. I mean, DeRozan took his team to a Eastern Conference Finals. We all put so much faith into the system and into Pop, and thinking that maybe we can get this thing together and make a run. We believed in the system that much, but at the end of the day, we all kind of learned a valuable lesson, and that lesson is, if you don't have a definite superstar, it's just not going to work. You're going to be mediocre, and that's what happened. I don't know if DeRozan was necessarily a superstar for us. Scoring wise, he definitely was. LaMarcus Aldridge, he had some really great games in there, but at the end of the day, neither one of these guys were like true superstar driven leaders necessarily for our squad, and it just didn't work, and it's fine, but it was a lesson that we had to learn. But everyone, or not a lot of people saying this, but anyone that's saying this, that the Spurs have been bad for a long time or they've been mediocre for a long time, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. The Spurs have not been bad for a long time, dude. It's literally been just a few years. I mean, look at any other team. Like, that just comes from like spoiled fans, in my opinion. You look at any other team that like other than us that haven't been on the top of the game.
Patch, the new Flexi Motion patch. Move your Asper cream. Say hello to my little patch. The new Flexi Motion patch. Move your...
Okay, I don't know what that was. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, but anyone that's saying that, it just comes from kind of spoiled fans, because at the end of the day, it hasn't been that bad, okay? It hasn't been that terrible. It's only been a few years of being bad, and yeah, it's hard to tank, especially if you're in the Spurs situation where they really do believe that they could still win at that time. But hey, they're making the right decision now. That's all that matters, is what's going on now and what's going to happen for the future. So them never having interest in Deandre Ayton going into this offseason, that's really good. That's a really good sign that the Spurs had a plan all along. All right, so moving on. Next slide, we have John Collins. So in the rumors that just wouldn't die, John Collins has been a name the San Antonio Spurs can't escape dating way back to last offseason. As an athletic 6'9" forward center, he's always made sense as someone who could thrive in San Antonio, since the type of player is exactly what they've been missing. Me personally, when it comes to John Collins, I just felt like he had way too much of an ego. Just way too much of an ego for the Spurs. I just wouldn't take him. I never thought it was a good idea. And we kind of knew that the Spurs weren't interested in him once all of the debates on what the Spurs were going to trade DJ for. And when the Atlanta Hawks offered John Collins, the Spurs said no. So we kind of knew for a while that the Spurs had no interest in bringing John Collins. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. The dude has a huge ego. I don't know if he will work with the Spurs, just to be honest. Atlanta and San Antonio have discussed a deal that will swap John Collins for DeJounte Murray. Sources said Spurs have told interest teams that moving Murray will require a Drew Holiday-like package. More league-wide trade notes. So, but yeah, this is back in June 23rd. Atlanta Hawks really were trying to get rid of John Collins, but yeah, it's good that the Spurs had no interest in him whatsoever. Just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. My standpoint. Colin Sexton, now this one I was kind of shocked by, that the Spurs had no interest in whatsoever. So we knew that it was very vague, the initial reports that the Spurs front office, like there's some people that like Colin Sexton, and obviously I ran with that too. A lot of people ran with that, but apparently the Spurs really didn't have a lot of interest. Okay, it was very vague anyways, but yeah, they had no interest in him. Now Colin Sexton, I still personally think that bringing him along would be a good thing. Okay. I think he has the right attitude to be a San Antonio Spur. I think he has really nice upside, especially going forward, you know, and I don't necessarily think that Colin Sexton makes us better. I just don't, like, not winning wise, maybe a few extra games, and that would be the difference sometimes. Right. But at the same time, I was like, you could bring him in, you know, play him sparingly, especially after his injury and everything. And yeah, maybe we'll get like a full-on healthy Colin Sexton come next season after we've already tanked and everything. We'd just be in a really great position with just stupid amount of talent. Because I'm not expecting the Spurs to really be bad for super long. I know some people think that it's going to be like 3-4 years. I don't know. I'm thinking more so like just a couple years. Like I could see us tanking this year, be a pretty decent team next season, and then right after that immediately like playoff team again. That's just how I see it, but who knows. But Colin Sexton, yeah, the Spurs never wanted him. That's a shame. I still think that would be a good pickup for the Spurs, but who knows. It doesn't matter. If they don't, I'm not heartbroken by any means. I'm not sitting here twisting the Spurs arm and saying, no, we need Colin Sexton. No, that's silly. Look, we're in tanking mode. Tanking mode is good. Great thing. I'm happy the direction that the Spurs are going. And I'm just happy that this was actually a reality the entire time, that they never wanted these players and they've been wanting to tank for a while. So that's good. That's a good thing. That's good. So But yeah, anyways, guys, just let me know what you think. If you want to support the channel, only $2 a month. Patreon, YouTube links below. Until next time, man. Deuces.